I don't like to, talk too much drama, but friend of the program, I think at least, I think he would say the same. Travis Kelce's people came out. Have you heard about this? And they're like a little bit worried about overexposure right now. And now, JJ, you had a run. Hey, you had a run where you were on everything, and then you just disappeared from that. Was that a conscious decision that you had to make, or like?
Yeah.
Real
No,
life
I mean,
combo?
I definitely had a time of overexposure. There's no doubt. And there's no handbook for it. There's no, nobody can, like, as you're coming up and coming out of college and going into the NFL and making that transition, nobody hands you a book and says, hey, you're going to be rich and famous. Here's what you do. Like, here's how, like, for me, especially as a defensive lineman and defensive guy in general, there weren't a lot of defensive guys getting national commercials. There weren't a lot of defensive guys getting some of the opportunities that I had. So we were kind of navigating these waters and trying to figure it out. And I mean, people are throwing absurd amounts of money at you for commercial opportunities, for endorsements, for things. And you've never experienced it all before. And you're a small town kid from Wisconsin. Like, I'm literally looking at these numbers and I'm thinking about my buddy back home who's a plumber. And I'm like, that guy would work 10 years for this number. Why would I not do it for this 2 hours commercial?
I'm JJ.
Yeah.
Like, so I go out there and I do all this stuff. And then all of a sudden you're on, NFL season comes around and there's 16 commercials with you on them. And people are like, I'm so sick of this guy. And that was kind of when Twitter was still a little bit early. It was still coming around. So I'm reading everything. And now all of a sudden people are like, I'm sick of this guy. I want him off. And I don't know how to emotionally and properly handle that. So I'm starting to figure out, like, oh man, the world hates me. Like, they don't like me. So I got to back this down. And then obviously we had a whole thing with, Big Cat and Barstool and those guys which again, I will always say part of that is absolutely justified. Like, I was a little bit too Captain America. I was a little bit too, like, try and be perfect and try and do everything exactly the right way. And I did need to be checked a little bit on that. And I do appreciate that. Did it maybe go a little bit too far? Maybe. But I consciously brought it back. I consciously reeled it back and said, like, okay, I gotta reanalyze this. I gotta refigure all this out. And just, it all comes down to being natural, being authentic, being real, being who you are. And sometimes it's very hard to do that because you are more vulnerable that way. And you also don't realize, like, everybody knows you think about yourself more than anybody else in the entire world thinks about you. So I always, like, these people are thinking about this, these people are thinking about that, but in reality, nobody cares, man. And there was just a time where a lot of people did care and they made their thoughts very clear and very real. And so it was a learning experience for me, and I'm going to make a lot more mistakes in the future. But yes, overexposure and putting yourself out there can certainly make yourself vulnerable. But as long as you're being real and being who you are, let's be honest, 99.99% of the people ain't turned down those checks, ain't turned down those endorsements, ain't turned down those opportunities.
Wow.
So.
Yeah. Hey, JJ, that was awesome, bro.
Yeah, that was sick.
That was really cool. Thank you for doing that, especially as we kind of go off the air on this glorious Trenches Wednesday. We'll continue on YouTube and ESPN Plus. That was a phenomenal answer. Mm-hmm. We're dancing with being OD'd on overexposure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're flying too close to the sun right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Get
way
burned
too close. Yeah, every single. Yeah. Want to dial it back?
People love a success story. Like, the thing I've learned, I mean, I follow it with other athletes, with everybody. People love a success story, but then there comes a point where they love to see it crash.
That's right.
And then they love a comeback story also.
Ah.
Damn.
I mean, not a bad end.
Close.
Not a bad.
I tried. I heard it. I couldn't time it up right.
I think you did kind of, though. Like,
It was in.
Yeah. I think
Yeah, that's perfect.
love to
then.
see it crash,
Yeah.
and then there's music, and then it's
Yep.
over. Maybe the most.
If Comeback Story wasn't at the end, too. Comeback Story, come back tomorrow.
Yeah, I think Comeback Story got cut off. I do believe. I think it was just the crash thing, which is pretty poetic because of everything that's kind of going on with our particular program right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Burn the hole! Yeah. Oh my God!
How are you? How do you handle it? Let's hear your perspective. How do you handle it all? How do you feel about it all? Like, how do you go about it?
Yeah, I'm muting people at an all-pro level right now.
Hell yeah,
I'm muting.
Division I.
Bro, I am. I'm a D1 muter and blocker at this standpoint because I'm on there. I have to be on there. I have to see everything that's going on. You know, like I have to be on the. There's people in the TV and internet world or entertainment world that are like, you can't go on the internet, you know, it'll kill you or whatever. It's like, well, how the fuck do you know what's going on? How do you have
newspaper?
How do you have any idea?
Those people always blow my mind. I'm like, okay, so you just want me to be
what am I doing?
a moron? Like, I'm not going to know anything that's happening in the entire world?
So am I Amish all of a sudden? I don't understand. And I'm waiting for the 5 o'clock news to tell me how do I? So with the way it's all set up, obviously the way the apps are set up, have to be on there. And then like notifications, like there's people that send in really good shit for us to look at.
Yeah.